Welcome to Wednesday, November 2nd. We have some good stuff to talk about today. Carvana closed their dealer marketplace. All of a sudden, October numbers, Cybertruck's coming sometime in the very, very far future.
I
think initially,
Right, sorry for the
initially people
multi-music
said it looks like it's from the future, and people never realized that you won't actually get to see it until the future.
It actually will always live in the future. If you get the kind of wordplay there, you understand what I mean, right? Something that's perpetually in the future is never today. So yeah, whatever. Yeah.
All that stuff.
Paul, real quick, did you know that there's this thing on Google that you
Search
can
bar?
literally,
Oh,
in the search bar, that if you're on a desktop, you can just hit "I'm feeling lucky" and just something crazy random comes up.
I've never done that. I've seen it.
It's absolutely fun. I it's like every couple months I remember that it's there because I never really like actually go to Google.
I don't see it anymore.
To search anything.
I don't see it anymore.
You don't see it? You gotta
go to Google.com. Okay.
Go to Google.com and then like you hover over it and it just it scrolls.
Kyle,
What'd you get?
I got ice cream near me.
Yes.
It knows us. It knows way too much.
I got Ingenuity, a spacecraft on NASA's Mars exploration program. Who knew?
Well, there you go.
You know, landed back on February 18th of 2021. Hey, we're full of insights this morning.
Yeah, that we didn't even know. Honestly, I prefer the ice cream near me. I prefer ice cream near me.
That's so classic.
A lot of fun things going on. I want to let you know, remind you that we have a new podcast that just dropped called In the Dirt. You can search In the Dirt with ASOTU on any of your podcast platforms. We're having a ton of fun on that. It is literally just freestyling when we're on the ground with dealers, industry partners. And we just decided to make it a podcast and have some really great album art. So if you're not watching, you're just listening.
I think there's 9 episodes out. And if you listen at 1.5 speed, which they're okay at that, I think you can get them all done in like 48 minutes. Don't quote me on that, but we'll just say that's a roundabout number.
Hey, if you have a drive, it's a perfect listen for a drive of any length.
Yes.
Really
and
is.
you get a mix of views and inputs and different like way, it's not just like one stream. So you get that kind of like feel,
we keep it simple. Right? Get in, get out. Not all this banter that we do on this show, right? It's like, hey, this is this person. What do you think? Yep. What do you see is happening?
Well, speaking of getting in and getting out.
Stop. Segue.
Time. I just had to get into it because, Carvana just a couple years ago started to announce their dealer marketplace a little bit before the pandemic. It got premiered in New York. We actually know one of the pilot people that started it, Todd Caputo, good friend of the family. He had a couple comments that Paul will share just about kind of what's happening, but they sent out a letter to all of their dealer partners that are currently on their dealer marketplace. It was just essentially a third-party listings platform for dealers to kind of like put aged inventory or really any inventory on the Carvana platform and have another sales opportunity there, another outreach opportunity. But they announced that they have 30 days left on that platform, that at the end of November, whoosh, gone. No more dealer
Can't
cars.
list anything new. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the program was this, if you weren't aware of it. I mean, it was kind of big news back a couple of years ago that Carvana was listing dealer inventory on their site to sell, like to retail vehicles that, and I can't remember what they called it, like a Carvana affiliate dealer, but it came with all the same warranties, and Carvana was buying these cars from dealers at retail. And then they moved into this kind of this marketplace where, you could sell, dealers could actually buy and sell used cars with Carvana and one another too, right? It was like a third-party marketplace for used cars for wholesale. That was before they bought ADESA. And, I think one of the biggest issues with this is that, that this is where dealers were putting their aged inventory, right? It was kind of like last chance saloon. This is where we're going to put the cars. If we can't sell them or there's something wrong with them or the market's not dictating, honestly, they just probably couldn't figure out a way to make money with it. It's probably expensive to run, a lot of people to run it.
Well, what's really interesting is like a lot of people that I've heard have said, over the last like 4 or 5 months, as the stock price has plummeted and now around $15, is people are saying, hey, I bet you their next move is leaning into the marketplace, right? Like that was some speculation in the industry. Like they're going to lean in there because they're struggling with inventory management.
Nope.
They're just going to be, nope. Kick that whole
Lean
thing
out.
to the curb.
Deuces.
Let everyone go associated with it, apparently, according to some inside sources that we've gotten to. And so now it's gone. And it's interesting because like I had someone say to me yesterday, I was texting with someone who will be name unnamed, and their kind of perspective on this was like, well, I think we got enough data to know exactly what car dealers are doing. I was like, that's just so conspiracy theory.
It is. I definitely don't think they're that forward thinking. I really do believe that they thought it was going to be trying to build a bridge between all the inventory. Really was what it was. It was an inventory bridge. Say, how can we leverage dealer inventory to, meet the retail demand that we've generated because of good branding and good marketing and things like that. Now that they own ADESA, I just can't even imagine the amount of cars they need to sell just to carry the debt service. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And they have to make money on those cars. And in this environment, like, it's just such a roller coaster. So like being the holder of the inventory just seems like the losing end, especially if you're having trouble reconditioning them fast enough, offering they think you're still offering a 7-day buyback policy on cars that you may have not really even seen. You didn't recon them. And so if that car comes back, it's got to come back. It's got to be held again. You have to recon. You have to photograph it now. It's like, that's just sitting there. And these days, it's just sitting there like losing money. It's just depreciating. So a little new development. Things come, things go. Speaking of coming and going.
Stop. Segue.
Time. That'll work. I'll take it. October sales figures are out from most automakers that report. And there's some big winners and big losers. Toyota surged 28% cumulatively across the brands Toyota and Lexus. So Toyota, actually, the Toyota brand was up like 34%. And Lexus,
I'm going to call that
brought that back a little bit.
They've got inventory again because it's just pent up demand. I'm calling it.
Oh, for sure. Camrys were up 68%. Right. We know there was big sedan drag. RAV4 up 40%. Tacoma up 44%. I mean, you could not find a Tacoma to save your life. For the last 12 months. So they obviously have some out.
Yeah. What's crazy is like, it's across the board for Toyota, that it's just wild. Toyota and Lexus to see that. And then Toyota, like they only had a 20-day supply still at the end of the month. So it's not like they just completely opened up the pipeline. They've still got a tight supply. They're managing demand well, level-headed, we'll call it.
That's the Toyota. Toyota's just doing it. Some other winners or losers. Subaru is up 32%. I'm sorry. Mazda kicking up at 30%. The biggest loser on the list, American Honda, is down 16%. They actually adjusted, saying they only are going to hit like 75% of their production goals, I think, for the last month or two. So they're obviously having some struggles. Again, the game is all about how you can manage getting inventory throughput. And, it's just still a very fragile supply chain. So one thing goes wrong, and that's going to like really immediately impact your stuff. Auto News reports Lance Wolfer, head of U.S. sales for Honda, told dealers in a memo the company's fourth quarter production will run at 75%, lower than anticipated. Part shortages, other shipping and logistics challenges, and as a result, this is the one that's going to hurt. Some dealer allocations in November and December may slide into early 2023.
Man, and all the dealers were like, again, no.
It's like the balloon deflating sound going into the last 2 months of the year. But the dealers we know that are Honda dealers, they always figure out how to make it work.
They're going to be fine.
They are. Speaking of 2023, wrong button. Speaking of 2023,
stop. Segue.
Not everyone who's show yet.
Everyone who listens to the show got that like weird feeling in their stomach, like, wait, it's over?
Show over already? We're getting there. Reuters reports that Tesla will begin early production of the long-awaited Cybertruck in the middle of 2023, with mass production commencing at the end of 2023, according to sources with knowledge of the matter. On the last investor call, Musk said, by the end of 2023, they're going to be starting mass production. This new inside source says, well, early production is going to start in 2023. They have hundreds of thousands of people on the wait list. So many that Tesla stopped pre-orders outside of North America and said, get this, we have more orders than we could possibly fulfill for 3 years after the start of production.
Can you imagine?
That's a long line.
That's unbelievable. I just can't imagine having. I mean, I think Hummer's dealing with the same thing right now.
Heck yeah.
Just so much activity and attention on something that you can't even like fathom producing in a calendar year. What would that look like? What would Apple would be like? Here's the new iPhone, y'all. It's gonna be a couple years before you get
people wouldn't be having that. They wouldn't be having that. I know. You know, I mean, the Cybertruck. This. If you remember, man, it was 2019 when this talk. It was 2019 when they announced the picture. They showed the picture. I mean, man, it's almost 2023. It's crazy.
It's like a year ago that Joe Rogan showed it. You know,
the think about. Oh my gosh, was that a year ago? You think about all like how exciting your fan base or brand base or whatever you want to call it is willing to stay over that long of a period for a product that is, I mean, this thing better be freaking awesome, right? Like the.
You know what's cool is this is breaking news, Paul. Also, what Elon has said. This is super breaking news. I know I'm the only one with access to it. Is they're actually going to do the first line reveal of the first one rolling off the line on Vine. It's going to be the very first Vine.
That would be killer. That would be killer. We didn't cover that
Vine's
story,
but and here's the Cybertruck. Sorry,
I'll if tell you don't man, know Vine,
Vine
was a 6-second video platform, right? I mean, it was very ahead of its time, and it kind of is the godfather of all the modern quick media that we consume at the time. Yep. Like it was just Twitter was just tweets. Well, Twitter's kind of like what it is today. It never really adapted much, but Instagram was just pictures. Right. Yep. There was no TikToks, no reels. And then Vine was like short videos. All those people became YouTubers. They've gone back around to YouTube shorts and TikTokers. And now maybe they'll all come back to Vine. We should polish up
along with the Cybertruck. It's all
we're going to polish up our 6-second content game
video deal.
Yeah. We just got to be ready to hit that sucker when it hits. But I mean, a big difference between the Cybertruck and the Hummer is the Cybertruck. Back when they announced it, it was like, it could be as cheap as 30. It was like $39,900. For an entry-level Cybertruck.
Right.
I bet entry level is going to be somewhere in the highest. You don't think the highest, the most expensive one with 3 motors and full self-driving was like 80. That'll probably be closer to 90 something. I don't know. I think Tesla might surprise us with a sub $50,000 Cybertruck option.
Maybe. Gotta compete with that Equinox.
Hey, that's going to be a tough decision. The Equinox looks good, but that thing's kind of weird.
Oh man!
I think one of the coolest features of the Cybertruck is that it's got a 3rd seat in the front.
That's true.
3 seats across in the front. Yeah. That's old school. Look, I have memories of riding
like bringing it back to the old bench work truck. Yeah.
How many people listening was sat in the middle, especially if it was like a stick shift, and the person's like got to like sit there and shift that big. They're just trying to like dodge it.
And my whole memories of the 3-seat truck is like it's only a cab, right? For some reason, we have the stinkiest thing in the back for every time you're in that truck. It's just terrible. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Like all the nostalgia is coming up. Remember those woven fabric seats? It was almost like
I do.
It was like a woven seat. It was
sitting on your like grandma's couch, you know.
No, my grandma's couch had like a thick layer of plastic over it. You remember the plastic wrapped couches?
Oh, that's
boy, have we prioritized comfort in the 2020s.
Speaking of prioritizing comfort,
stop. Segway
time. Y'all,
we're so sideways.
I don't know if anyone realized, but it's Wednesday, and for some reason, Hump Day has gotten a hold of us. It's gone straight sideways. Hey, look, we've got some passengers that may be prioritizing some level of comfort. I don't know if it's extremely comfortable, but robo-taxis operated by Waymo are now making regular passenger trips to the Phoenix airport to become the first ride-hailing service to operate in a complex airport environment. So you've got airport trips that are being done by complete robo-taxis going into an airport environment with high traffic. Waymo has been in the Phoenix area since 2017, but they're going to be operating with passenger trucks or passenger trips for the very first time. Paul, I just don't know if I'm ready for that. Person,
I have to see it to believe it. I mean, I see my experience in self-driving vehicles is that they're indecisive. When it comes to a point when they have to merge lanes or there's another car around, they just get all like, and they don't know what to do. And I feel like the trigger reaction when they feel that way, we're personifying AI right now, when they feel that way, is that they slow down and they move slower. And my anxiety goes through the roof. I'm like, you should be moving faster right now. And if you've been to an airport, you know, like, I don't see a passenger getting anywhere near that drop-off lane that sometimes is like 3 lanes over. Without like a little aggressive driving, right? Like there's a lot of eye contact that goes on. Like, hey, you am I going there? You going there? And you got hand gestures.
We've never been
types.
to the Phoenix airport. Like our experience is, I'm thinking like Atlanta airport. To be. Never gonna happen, right?
Yeah, Chicago. But, nope. Yeah, Philly. Nope. Maybe Atlanta. It'd work in Syracuse. I don't know if it would work in Nashville. Be fine in Syracuse. Be good. Be good. Be good. So they have a program called Trusted Testers where people actually sign an NDA and they can't talk about their experience. And, you know, they roll that out first and then they roll it out to the general public. But hey, in some areas of Phoenix, you can hail a Waymo vehicle. It'll show up, no driver, pick you up and take you where you want to go. We're going to be in Phoenix, I think in January. I think maybe in January.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So maybe. I think we need to make sure we're geared up to track one of these down and take a ride and we'll interview the driver and say, where did you buy your last car? Right? We'll do it. Show an empty seat. Back to us. Back to you. All right. Well, if you don't realize we got Sideways on Wednesday, you weren't even paying attention. But look, the point of all of that is we live in a fun time in a fun industry, and we can enjoy the good things while getting some work done.
Leave the right.